You know that massive, super complex system that powers our entire lives, the electricity market? It's going through a huge transformation right now. And I don't just mean a simple upgrade. We're talking about a complete rethink of how we generate, trade, and even value energy itself. So let's dive in and break down what that actually looks like.
It all really starts with a simple question, one you've probably never even stopped to think about. But the answer? Oh, it opens up this massive, hidden world of engineering and economics and policy that impacts your wallet and the planet every single second of every day.
The answer, of course, is in the electricity market. But here's the thing. The system we have now was built for a totally different era, an era of fossil fuels. And it's really starting to buckle under the pressure of where we're headed next. So, to really get a grip on where we're going, we first have to take a quick look back at the grid we're leaving behind, the one that powered the 20th century.
From most of the 20th century, power was basically a monopoly. You can see it there on the left. Governments or big utilities controlled the whole shebang, from the power plant all the way to your house. But then, starting around the 1980s, this wave of liberalization came through and introduced competition. The new model, on the right, broke the system up so that different companies could compete to generate power and sell it to you.
And this new competitive market, it was built on this really core economic idea, social welfare maximization. The goal wasn't just to keep the lights on. It was about creating a system that would find the absolute cheapest, most efficient outcome for everybody involved, both the people making the power and the people using it.
So how does it actually work? Well, you can think of it like a giant, non-stop auction. Power producers submit their offers, the lowest price they'll accept to generate electricity. At the same time, consumers, or utilities on their behalf, bid the highest price they're willing to pay. And that one single point where those two lines cross, that sets the price for everyone in the market. It's a really elegant system for a predictable world.
But that elegant system, which was designed perfectly for predictable, fuel-burning power plants, was about to run headfirst into its biggest challenge yet. A challenge that would shake its very foundations. Yep, the new players in the game were wind and solar. And their incredible rise didn't just add a new source of power to the grid, it completely changed the rules of the game. See, unlike the old power plants, renewables brought three brand new problems to the table. First, their output is variable. The sun isn't always shining, the wind isn't always blowing. Second, that makes them really hard to predict with perfect accuracy. And third, and this one is the real kicker, their fuel is free. The cost of making one more bit of solar or wind power is basically zero. And that question right there gets to the absolute heart of the problem. The whole market was designed to stack up producers based on their fuel costs. So what happens when your cheapest power sources have a fuel cost of zero? It completely messes with the model. It drives prices way down, sometimes even into negative territory, and it just destabilizes the whole economic foundation. So, with the old system creaking and groaning under this new reality, we're forced to step back and ask a much bigger, more fundamental question. What is an electricity market even for in the 21st century? What's its purpose? Well, if you ask an economist, the answer is pretty clear. The market has three main jobs: make sure resources are used in the most efficient way possible, create clear prices so everyone knows what to pay and what they'll earn, and, this is a big one, give signals for where we should invest money to build new stuff for the future. But talk to an engineer, and you get a different answer. To them, the market is a tool to run the single most complex machine humanity has ever built. Its number one job is to respect the laws of physics. It has to manage the physical limits of the grid to keep the lights on and prevent catastrophic blackouts. It has to work in the real world, not just on a chart. And now, there's a really powerful third perspective that's shaping this whole conversation. The ESG, or environmental, social, and governance view. This perspective says, hey, wait a minute, the market has to do more. It should be a tool for achieving our biggest societal goals, like fighting climate change, helping communities share their own energy, and making sure the system is fair for everyone. The thing is, the market of the future won't just pick one of these. Nope, it's going to have to be a blend of all three, the economic, the engineering, and the social, to create a totally new blueprint for our grid. First up, future markets are going to have to become stochastic. Now, I know that sounds like a super technical term, but all it really means is that they'll be designed to embrace uncertainty, not fight it. So instead of trying to make one single perfect prediction of how much wind we'll have, they'll use a range of possibilities, which makes the whole system way more flexible and resilient. They're also going to be way more distributed and coordinated.
We're moving away from that old top-down model where a few giant power plants did all the work. The future is a system that empowers and coordinates millions of smaller players, everything from solar panels on your roof to the battery in your electric car.
And this is where it gets really cool. This opens the door to things that sound like science fiction, like peer-to-peer energy markets. Seriously, imagine a future where, instead of just buying power from your utility, you could automatically buy the extra solar power your neighbor's roof is generating. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. And underneath all of this is a truly massive shift in thinking. As the cost of actually making renewable energy gets closer and closer to zero, the value isn't just in the kilowatt hour anymore. In this new world, the real-time data about who's making power, who needs it, where it's stored, that data could become even more valuable than the energy itself. And that means these future markets have to be two things. They have to be data-driven and they have to be fair. They'll need to use things like AI and machine learning just to handle the insane complexity of it all. But they also have to be designed from day one with fairness baked in, to make sure that the benefits of this whole clean energy revolution are shared by everybody, not just a few. The source material for this explainer puts it just perfectly. We are living through a massive economic flip. The old world was all about low initial investment, but high ongoing costs for fuel, buying coal and gas. The new world is the total opposite. It's about high upfront investment in the infrastructure, the turbines, the panels, the batteries, but then the operational costs are incredibly low, and that changes absolutely everything about how we pay for power. Which leaves us with a final, really critical question. A question for all of us, really. As we are redesigning this invisible system that will power our entire future, what values do we want to build into it? What's the main goal? Should we prioritize pure, ruthless economic efficiency above all else? Or should we aim to build a system that's not just efficient, but also fairer and more sustainable for everyone? The choices we're making right now will decide.